I'm here. Don't worry. Welcome. It's best to just be quiet in a place such as this. We wouldn't want to scare away who's coming, would we? I felt a little bit lost and confused in the vast void of what I sometimes think of as before the castle. The place I stay before you arrive here, and the candlelight returns, and I see that familiar red carpet going through these endless halls, leading to endless rooms. Sometimes it feels lovely and peaceful. Sometimes it feels like nothing at all, like sleeping without dreams. Sometimes it's absolutely and horrifically lonely. But this time it was just frustrating. I searched endlessly for my candlestick. I searched for something to light the candle with. I just wanted a little clarity, a little vision, a little direction. But I realized that it wouldn't come from scrambling about, from sighing and grumbling and groaning, from calling out for help but without any specific request. Just help. Help, I'm lost and confused. What do I do? Am I still even in this castle? Did it ever exist in the first place? What am I meant to do? No answer came. Just darkness. Just emptiness. Have I been here before? Do you remember? I'm not sure I remember. It feels familiar. A dark and empty space. Once, maybe twice before, I called it a prison. But you know what? I don't think that's what it is. It's just quiet and dark. And instead of scrambling to turn on the light, to find sound, to find someone, maybe the point is not to fight it. With that in mind, I simply stopped everything and began to listen, to breathe, to be quiet, silent. 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 Oh, who's here? Someone is here. Someone with a question. Lovely spirit. What do you want to know? How do you muster the energy to work on your spiritual side when work, life, love, friends, family, and other responsibilities ask so much of you? What a question. What a question for me, anyway. Because I here, that is whatever I am here, anyway, I am entirely free. That's why I love it here. even when I am lost and frustrated and waiting for just a little bit of light to guide the way. I am free. But let's say, for example, that there's a real live human person, a human being, a woman, about 33 years old, with a job that keeps her preoccupied most days, with a fiancé and a family and a cat and friends who she loves dearly, an apartment that requires rent every month, an overactive imagination, a very severe peanut allergy, a blanket she's been knitting for over 2 years, an attempt that she wishes she had more time to finish because it's so soft and warm, but her hands hurt, ocular migraines and dizzy spells, probably undiagnosed obsessive-compulsive tendencies, too great a love of things like a graduate degree in a field she's largely abandoned, a couple of other things, despair for climate change and human cruelty, delight for passionate music and sad poetry, and a podcast. Let's say that this woman, whose life is full of all this kind of stuff, the frivolous and the very important, the pleasant and the unpleasant. Let's just say that you're asking her this question. Not me. Her. How do you muster the energy to work on your spiritual side when responsibilities ask so much of you? She finds times when she is overwhelmed, frightened, angry, overstimulated. At her best, in those moments, she seeks silence.
I will come whenever you call. You have but to ask. I shall never deny you, but you have to ask. You must ask with silence in your mind and an open heart, and those are both terrifying things, aren't they? But if you will brave the darkness of that void, if you will move forward without a candle in that shadow, if you will open yourself up to whatever waits for you there, I will come. I shall never deny. I shall never deny. I will come. I am nothing. I am silence. I am emptiness. Yet I am everything. I am the first sound. I am fullness. Yet I am you. I am I. There is no I.
I am frightened. I am ecstatic. I am floating. I am falling. This used to be a prison. Now it is more vast and open and spacious than 1,000,000,000 years in 1,000,000,000 universes. What is the opposite of being trapped? Free falling through an endless sky, wind whistling past your ears, eyes stinging with frigid tears, stars all around extending into streaks of white light with the speed of your fall. Is this surrender? And the more you fall, the faster you drop, but there is no bottom, there is no stop, and so, faster you go. I remember being a child and closing my eyes and thinking, what is this? Well, child, my mind answered, this is life. You are in a bed, in your room, in your house, in your city, in your country, on earth, in this universe. And then I asked my mind, then what? And my mind screamed, and I felt that I was falling into a void. The question, then what? Echoing all around me, as another voice answered,
I don't know, but I'm with you.
And my dance partner remained, and sometimes all of it, despair for climate change, passionate music and sad poetry, sometimes all of it feels as though it's too much again. It always does. It's so easy to let it, but you cannot push it away, you cannot reject it. It is not separate, it is part of you too. But you can dance through it with the hum of 1,000,000,000 years of 1,000,000,000 universes as your soundtrack. I who is she, who is he, who is no I at all, will refuse to let it all weigh me down. But rather, I fall backwards into that endlessness. I let the wind whistle and the tears fly. I watch the stars streak by me, and I laugh, because I thought for a moment I could push it all away. How can you push away the water when you're in the middle of the ocean? How can you push away the water when you are the ocean? There we are. A little light to guide our way through this castle. A red carpet to greet us as well. How wonderful. I can't see the halls or the rooms. I know this place is quite vast, but it is nowhere near as vast as we are. Sometimes, when I need to, I take a little journey to the vastness of myself, just so that I take the twists and turns of everything else a little less seriously. Look, a door. It opens very, very slowly, inch by inch, and behind it, complete nothingness. That same void we fell through, just a little glimpse of it. Is your heart sinking, seeing it? Reach out to touch it, not to step into it, not to fall through it. Just touch it. It's a mirror. Close the door. Walk down the hall. Let's go to the playroom instead. Let's have a little fun. That's what this should be anyway. What is all this stuff for if not to have a little fun while we're here? Come, follow me. Let's go. You too, sweetheart.
Okay, let's go.
Good. Off we go. You'll love it. Both of you. All of you. There are toys, games, books, a friendly poltergeist to keep you company, little wind-up toy animals that sing delightful songs. There are instruments. You can make some music. There are music boxes. You know, I used to collect music boxes. I'd wind them all up at the same time and try to conduct the cacophony, try to see harmony in the discord, but would ultimately just revel in the chaos. Surprise, surprise. We could do that. There are costumes, dollhouses. We can tell stories. We can turn the lights off and put the candlelight under our faces and tell ghost stories. Wouldn't that be something? Or maybe we could. Hello, my friends, and thank you so much for listening to episode 208 of On a Dark Cold Night. This is Kristen Zaza, your writer, host, narrator, podcaster, composer, etc. behind the show. I hope you're doing well and that your fall has started off with peace and calm and quiet and gentleness. Sending a big thank you first off to longtime listener and one of the very first supporters of the show, Daniel, who sent me this question over Twitter about finding time for spiritual work amidst all the other demands of daily life. Definitely something I've been aspiring to balance now that the summer is over and as we head into a busier season. You know what? I debated being honest about this out of fear of seeming, biased or whatever, but let's do it. The Daniel in question is actually the very first supporter of the podcast. He is, in fact, my fiancé. And he sent me this question, and I liked it, and I made this little meditation story out of it. And we're long distance at the moment, so it was a lovely way to connect. So without any more mushiness or favoritism, thank you so much for your insightful question, Daniel. I really appreciate it. Love you. I'd also like to thank everyone who supports the show on Patreon on a monthly basis. I greatly appreciate you helping me continue to make this podcast. Thank you. If you're considering joining my Patreon, I'll tell you a bit about the perks you can find there. Every listener of $1 or more receives access to my ever-expanding soundtrack, while supporters of $5 or more US, so it's a bit different for us here in Canada or other countries, of course, receive that and access to a monthly tarot reading video I upload every full moon. You can learn more at patreon.com/darkcoldnight. And if you'd prefer to donate one time only with no perks, you can send me one or more metaphorical coffees through ko-fi.com. Learn more at ko-fi.com/darkcoldnight. And you can purchase a t-shirt or hoodie from bonfire.com/on-a-dark-cold-night. If, like Daniel, you have a question you'd like to submit and maybe hear me revolve a story or meditation around, you can do so through Ko-fi or Patreon, or you can do so over social media. You can find me on Twitter at A Dark Cold Night. You can also follow me and ask over Instagram. I'm there at Dark Cold Night Podcast, or on my Facebook or YouTube pages just called On a Dark Cold Night. Or you can also find me on TikTok at Kristen Zaza. A great free way to support the show is to leave me a rating and a review wherever you're able. You can do so on iTunes, Spotify, Facebook, or anywhere else you like to rate and review podcasts. I'd really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for listening and joining me in this dark and empty space. You might find it difficult to find space for quiet and spirituality while navigating this very complex and noisy thing that life can often be. In that case, I encourage you to create silence for yourself. Make the time, claim it, carve it into your schedule as if it were more important than everything else. And I know sometimes that can feel impossible. I know that. In which case, hold the memory of quiet and peace in your heart. Picture it like a beautiful friend, or a sweet animal, or yourself, or a little flower. Whatever you would like to view this as, hold the memory of peace that is always yours in your heart. Close your eyes, even if only for a few seconds. Breathe in and watch that friend, that animal, that flower, or yourself expand and fill you up with a gentle smile. Silence as loud as a single note humming in your ears. Warm as the shallow waters of a tropical ocean. It's just you, there, to remind yourself of how vast you really are. With that, I'll say good night. Good night, my friends. This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network. Sonar.